Hello and welcome to the Boardroom, where, as always, we are having conversations with some of Malta's leading business minds about some of the key issues that's important to Malta's business community. We are live at the moment, so if you're watching us live, please do add any questions or comments that you have for our interviewees today in the comments section below. If you don't watch this live, no problem. You can stream it back on who'swho.mt, Malta's leading business portal. Now, one of the biggest trends at the moment, one of the major things happening in so many businesses across the world is mergers taking place to bring together talent from across different areas. And that's exactly what we're going to be discussing today as we meet with two of the people behind a fantastic new merger for Malta. They are Benji Borg, who is the co-founder of ANCHOVY, and also Matthew Sammut, who is one of the founders of NIU. Benji and Matthew, it's wonderful to have you on the show. And we're going to be talking today about your merger, the formation of a new setup between you called Capital 9H. Looking forward to hearing all about that. So perhaps we can kick off straight away and you can tell me, Benji and Matthew, just a little bit more about your existing companies, about ANCHOVY and about NIU.
Perfect. Thank you, Jo. So maybe a bit of background from my side. I'm one of the co-founders of ANCHOVY, which was co-founded 9 years ago by myself and my brother. And ANCHOVY has predominantly, over the years, specialized in digital marketing, user experience design, both locally and internationally.
Thank you, Jo, for the introduction. My name is Matthew. I'm the co-founder of NIU, which has been established some 15 years ago now. With my business partner, James. My role at NIU is divided basically between business development and account management, but now since the merger, Benji took over the account management part and I'm focusing on the business development.
Fantastic. That's super interesting to hear about the different skills that you both bring to the table under those two different but very established brands. And you can talk to us maybe a little bit about why you've decided to have this merger take place now and what the idea is behind the new setup.
Yeah, so basically this has been something which has been simmering for a while. Over the past few years, we've been outsourcing certain jobs to one another. So ANCHOVY was never that strong in web development, so we obviously outsourced certain projects to NIU, and the same on the other side. So NIU would outsource to us UX design, marketing, and branding. And over the months, we just kept on discussing this, and it just kind of made sense for many reasons. One is that combined, we're offering our clients a one-stop shop, a one-stop digital shop, which allows our clients to speak to one client manager and be able to go through the entire digital journey. And obviously together we're picking up on our strengths and our weaknesses to come out of it, I think, one strong, united company.
If I had to add something to that, in fact, we've been working together as two separate teams for a number of years. And I must say that some of the best projects we've launched were actually those that we worked on together. Since, as Benji said, they are very strong on the design, UI, UX, and marketing side of things, whilst we were and are still strong on the tech side. So basically complementing these two things together gives the best results. Now with the merger, obviously, the good thing also for our clients is that they are speaking with one person and everything behind the scenes is happening between the different teams. So that's basically is a good formula and recipe to make the best projects.
Fantastic. That's great to know. And perhaps you can tell us a little bit about how this is going to work in practice. So how is the structure of the company going to change and what can your existing clients expect from that as well as your new clients?
Yeah, go for it.
No, to the structure, to the outside world, we're still keeping and maintaining both brands. Both brands have been in the market for a very long time and they attract different clients and they have a different end goal. What we've done is that we've just created a holding company on the top, 9H Capital, and the whole point of that holding company is to combine everything together. From behind the scenes, we've merged the operations. So operationally, we're one team. We have one client service management team, which is facilitating all our clients, and we have one centralized sales team. And then we have the same teams that we had before, but now working much closer together, which has created a much better synergy, especially now with everyone back at the office. There's a very, very good synergy of work coming out, and I think the quality is only going to keep getting better.
Also, with this merger, we could fill in those key roles which independently we couldn't. So, as Anchovy and then NIU separately, we couldn't, for example, have a head of HR or a head of finance. Obviously, with now 70 plus people, it makes sense to have and fill in these roles. And that as well makes a difference both internally and also externally with our clients, because everything is more organized, more streamlined, more in line with what clients are expecting today.
Fantastic. It'd be great to hear from you both to sort of double down on the specialisms that you both bring to the table, and perhaps for our viewers who might not be super clear on what digital marketing strategy is and the technology side of things, what is it that you both bring to the table from a very tangible perspective?
It's not the web.
I start from web. Okay. So from the web side of things, I mean, the core specialty of NIU is basically understanding what the client needs or pain points in their technical side of things and giving them solutions. So basically solving a problem. So it's not like a product, it's a ready-made, you just buy it off the shelf and try to make it work for your business. We go in to understand what the client needs and create a bespoke solution to basically solve that problem. So in terms of, okay, it's still very vague, but we do, for example, websites which are e-commerce, but not just an e-commerce website where you just buy a product, but also integrated with an account software, for example, with a stock management system. So again, the solution, which is the e-commerce in this case, it's always updated, it's real time, and automated as much as possible. So if I had to mention some of the things that we do, especially in the COVID period, was mainly had to do with e-commerce. But we also built, for example, bespoke custom web applications, mobile applications, integrations between systems so that systems can communicate with each other and have the client one central point where they can manage their business. So it's a mix of these things. Obviously, then this is complemented by the nice UI, UX, which Anchovy bring to the table, which I think Benji can explain a bit better.
So then the other services come before and after what Matthew was explaining. So we dive into research, so market research, competitor research, mystery shopping. We really dive deep into understanding what the market and what the customer is looking for. Then we move into brand positioning. So every brand fits a purpose. You need to understand who your customers are, and your brand needs to have a voice that's speaking to those customers. Then we move into UI, UX, which is user experience, and that is designing wireframes and designing experiences which fit a product that fit your customers. Then it moves into development, like Matthew was explaining, which is anything from bespoke platforms to front-end, back-end applications. But then once the product is built, then you need to market it and you need to get customers on board.
And maintain it as well. So a software application, a bespoke website, it needs continuous updating, it needs security checks, it needs vulnerability checks, it needs to be hosted on a fast environment. So these are also things that come part and parcel with a solution. So it's not just, we go in and we come out. We're usually also part of the process, even with the companies after launch of these projects. Both from the Anchovy side, which is the marketing, SEO, making sure the website ranks and people find it, and also from the technical side of things, which I just explained.
And all of this is overseen by our client service team. So a big area of the business we're pushing in is to, the digital world is confusing. There's a lot of things to know, a lot of new technology coming out all the time. And we're trying to make that journey as easy as possible for the end customer. Our job is to guide you through that journey and guide you through all these services that we've spoken to you about. And most important thing is to maintain that relationship post-launch, both like Matthew was saying, from an SLA point of view and making sure that everything is running smoothly all the time so that you can focus on running your business. And then also for attracting customers, because we can build the best products. If no one's using them, it's pointless. So that's where we come in for lead generation from the B2B to B2C market, whether it's content, video, whether it's telling a story, whether it's SCM or PPC. These are we can do omni-channel strategies. So I know we're talking about a lot of things here, but the whole point of all of this is bringing it under one roof and trying really hard to make it as simple as possible for our clients.
Absolutely, that makes perfect sense. And I'm sure that there are going to be lots of people sort of watching this thinking, wow, that would be so helpful for me. That would take a lot off my plate. And so if you think now about sort of the merger and the coming together of these two great companies, what would you say are the biggest opportunities that you guys are hoping to capitalize on?
I think one of the main things we're focusing on is internationalization. So, we've got a good base in Malta. We've got also a base now in Dubai and Saudi in the MENA region. And we're now big enough and have the knowledge and capacity to take on bigger projects. We're obviously not abandoning the local market, because the local market is basically, they love us, they trust us, and we've built a reputation for both brands. But yes, if I had to say one key point that we're focusing on is, yes, taking these two brands internationally.
And also the aim for us, this was just the starting point of 9H Capital. What we're looking for is to continue growing and adding to the value chain. So at the moment, from all the services we've mentioned to you, that's still not the full value chain that you can offer to our clients. So there are still many other things that we don't offer. And what we want to do over the coming years is attract other businesses which are specialists in what they do, so they can form part of our group, so we can keep adding a better service to our clients.
And this we do through acquisitions, through organic growth, through
Fantastic. And I know that career opportunities are also something that you're focusing on, career opportunities for your team members. Perhaps you can tell us a little bit about the culture behind this new setup, and of course, coming from the two existing brands.
Yeah, this is a big focus for us. And at the moment, our biggest push has been, COVID was a bit of a turbulent time for everyone, trying to figure out how to work online, hybrid, and trying to still maintain a culture. And I think that now there's a big drive of bringing people back into the office, even though we have quite a large, substantial amount of people of our team who work all over the world, both in Saudi, Dubai, Italy, and other locations. So it's still very hard for us to maintain that core team culture when you have a hybrid setup. But it's a big focus for us, because fundamentally we're a service company, and the only way we can provide and come up with great solutions and be creative is if you're working together in a room and you're feeding off each other. So that has been a challenge, but I think we're getting into a good space, and we're looking for great talented people to join us. So if there's anyone out there who's looking to be part of our journey, we're willing to listen to anyone, even if there isn't a job position available on the website. We have open job positions, so just contact us. Let's have a chat, a coffee, and you never know where it's going to lead to. And we're always looking for people who are dedicated and passionate about the digital world.
Absolutely. And one of the things that is always a challenge when you go into a merger situation is existing clients perhaps wondering how this is going to work and how things are going to change. So perhaps you can tell us a little bit about how you've mitigated that and what this does mean for your existing clients.
Yes, before we went public and did these interviews, and PR about this merger, we obviously contacted our clients, we informed them what's happening, and we had some really great response. I mean, we had some clients which were already working with both ANCHOVY and NIU. So for them, it was like, finally, I can speak to just one person and deal with all your service lines. So it was great for them rather than having to, split the work between two companies. Now it's one. Obviously, other companies congratulated us. We had coffees with clients to explain what's going to happen, what's going to change. But it was for the best. So we had some really good feedback. I mean, I can say it was a success.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. And when it comes to the future of the digital economy and how things are continuing to change for businesses out there, whether in Malta or further afield, what would you say to sort of the average business person out there and how ready they need to be to sort of approach the coming opportunities, but also the challenges?
I mean, COVID for us was obviously a great catalyst in kind of to propel the industry. A lot of businesses had to get online. They had to build better platforms. So that was a very big push to the industry. There's a lot of competition out there. And I think businesses are understanding now that you need to focus online and you need to pay attention to it. You can't just put something up and just expect people to come to your website or to your platform. I think that the misunderstanding or the misconception with a lot of businesses is that they think that if I build a great product, people will, one, come, and two, the after-sale service is critical. So all the research that we've done and all the feedback that we see, a lot of customers out there are extremely picky with who they choose to buy from. They're willing to give you a try, but you've got one chance. If they get a bad experience, bad delivery, you're off their list. So, there's a very large circle that is surrounding, the online space. Like you could have the best platform, the best experience online. You got a bad delivery person delivering the item and the entire experience goes out the window because that's the last thing you remember. So even if you're outsourcing parts of your business, it's the whole thing needs to be taken into consideration. So I think we have seen progress, but there's a lot more to come.
During COVID, we've seen a lot of businesses rush to digital, because obviously their shops were closed and they couldn't operate, or they had to literally close shop overnight. A lot of our clients, obviously before COVID, that had an online shop, although they had an online shop, for example, they still weren't ready. Why? Because obviously they were geared for 3-4 orders a day, but COVID drove this 3 to 4 orders a day to 100 orders a day. So logistics, stock quantities, the way to handle such orders, they weren't ready. So when you look at the digital kind of economy, it's not just having an online shop with a checkout process. There's a whole technology behind it, So this is where we help these businesses take the plunge. We are obviously, as Benji mentioned, there were companies that literally were so desperate that they launched, a website within 2 weeks, which isn't, up to certain standards, up to today's standards, because now everyone is online. So you need to be the brightest, you need to make sure that your website is the best now, because people are accustomed to certain standards now. They want things yesterday as much as possible. So, and that's where our services kind of collide, because, okay, we can do a great website, but we need to market it. We need to make sure it ranks. We need to make sure that clients come again, because obviously Malta is what it is. So you cannot burn your clients. You need to have them come back and make use of your services or products again and again. I mean, that's it. But yes, we have a lot more to do here locally, and the digital economy will keep on growing. Even government now is pushing. There are even funds available, funding and local funding to help businesses take and jump on this bandwagon. And we're here to help these companies get the best possible result.
And with that in mind, I mean, as you said, the digital space can be very overwhelming and people can be a little bit frightened about what steps to take, and things are changing again. Now we've got Web3, NFTs, it's a never ending list of things that companies could be jumping on the back of. So for you, where should a company that perhaps is basically starting its digital journey, or maybe looking to the next couple of years of its digital journey, where should they be putting their attention?
Listen to your customers. If you're not going to listen to your customers first, and you're going to jump straight into building platforms thinking that you know what they want, then you're starting off on the wrong foot. So I think we see it so many times. So many businesses don't spend enough time listening to what their customers really want. And it could be through research, it could be through field research, it could be everyone has a client list, just start calling them up, contact them, email them, do a quick survey on Google survey if needs be, but get that feedback. Once you have that feedback, and you need honest feedback, you want to go through all the negative reviews as well. You want to listen to those reviews. You want to understand why they're not happy with your experience, so you can build a platform from there. And we're also very happy to have these conversations. So we're always happy to have a coffee to discuss strategy and give our input. So if anyone is willing to and wants to have a chat with us, we work across all industries, any size. For us, everything starts off with a chat. We need to understand your business. We need to understand your pain points. And we will then come back to you with our solutions that we think would make sense. And they're always staggered. So we're, as an organization, we never go in and say, let's do these 20 things in one go. Things need to be done properly, need to be done staggered, need to track results and data to see what's working, what's not working, and if needs be, go back to the drawing board. But it's a journey. So it's not something you do once and you say, I ticked it and I'm going to leave it. This is something which is continuous. Even when you build a website, you don't just build it once and you just leave it there. There needs to be attention to it. You need to see what's happening to the website. You need to optimize it. The thing is that we've become extremely spoiled as customers. When you log into Amazon or you log into Revolut every single day, naturally you expect that experience to echo into other platforms you're using. Mm-hmm. So if you're not getting that experience, then instantly, subconsciously, you're saying, okay, this is not good and this. So you need to, obviously it's very hard to get to that level of UI and UX, but we need to all be striving to offer our customers the best experience.
Very good. Matthew, do you have anything to add off the back of that?
I mean, Benji touched a good point, that there is no one solution that fits all. And that's where we come in. So yes, I agree that data is extremely important. So if you're not collecting data, please start doing it now. There are ways and means nowadays to collect data even without people necessarily inputting a form. So there are tools that you can set on your site, which literally track the user's journey, set up heat maps for you, information about the device you're using. So all this information is crucial to make sure that the next project or the next update on your project will fit more within your customer. So you need to understand your customer in order for the project to work, basically. And the project like these that we're mentioning are technically never ready. So yes, we can launch a website, but once you launch it, you need to start working on it to make sure that your customers find it, your customers know how to use it and actually use it, and you get sales, returns, etc., etc.
Fantastic. Okay, so there we have it, all the wonderful news about your merger and the fantastic things that are going to be happening. So if there's anybody out there that wants to get in touch with you, wants to sort of start this journey with you along with this new merger, what should they do to get in touch?
So any of our websites, niu.com.mt or anchovy.com, we're on socials as well. We also built a small landing page for 9hcapital.com, which basically is our holding arm of these two brands. Obviously, we're on LinkedIn as well, so anywhere they can get in touch with us.
Or just show up at our offices and come have a coffee.
That's wonderful. Well, thank you both for being on the show. Lovely to have you. Congratulations on the merger. And we look forward to seeing what you come up with. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jo.
Thank you.
And to all of you watching the Boardroom, whether at home or at the office, thank you for being with us. Great to see you on the show, and we look forward to seeing you next time.